distinguished panel, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a statistic. I am an individual. The Ministry of Health usually gives us statistics of health, numbers on our screens. Yet, we might often be carried away by the fact these numbers actually refer to people. We might just chew our supper or our lunch meals as we just look at the numbers, but we really don't. Do we really get the weight of what those numbers really mean? Ladies and gentlemen, I am an individual with aspirations and a will. I have opinions and I have perspectives. I am determined to change the world. Yet, this is not to scare or to intimidate anyone. Rather, it's to contribute to the pool of humanity and to making a better world. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not live for myself alone, even though I'm an individual. I am part of you, as well as you are part of me. We reflect one another. We are essentially one. So, my brother, why are you depressed? Why are you downcast? Don't you know how much potential you hold? My sister, why are you shy? Don't you know how beautiful your smile is? So gather courage. Wake up from your sleep. Abandon your distractions and addictions. Obtain knowledge and gather your true history. You see, evolution theory is not our true history. Yeah? So get on your purpose, yeah, and abandon your distractions, and you'll find meaning for your life. So mend the bruises of the past, heal the wounds of the past, a step at a time. Recognize that culture is not something that lies out there like an extra finger, yeah? Culture lives in us and manifests itself through us. And it's by which it inculcates a consciousness, by which we think about the world and we are to solve our problems. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, without a knowledge of self, without a knowledge of history, we are split, we are divided. There will be generational gaps, as we are talking about today. We'll be marginalized, not even from society, but from our own selves. So, wake up, Africa.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, how many of you listen to Rumba? How many of us know Akina Madilu System, Mpongo Love?
You're old.
Just a small number of us. Yeah, because apparently we are from Generation Z. We are not the oldies, unlike those ones who are from Generation X. The generation considered to be the most careful, not reckless, not so depressed, unlike us. But anyway, I am not a statistic. I am an individual. I was born alone. My mom calls me by my name. We are not called as a group because I am an individual. But then why? Why am I then stereotyped? Why am I then stereotyped to be the dreadlocks generation, to be the people who have piercings all over the body, which perceive me as a very rogue kind of generation, a very reckless and a very depressed one for that matter? Why has police brutality affected the Generation Z so much and not people from millennials or the Generation X? I mean, it's not fair. Like, why are we the bad ones here? Why are we put in a statistic to be positioned as the bad people in the society? You see, trigenerational gaps have really affected us. And more so, they have affected the Generation Z. They've affected the Generation Z. And that's why each and every now and then, we hear very many cases of police brutality. The example of Kianjakoma brothers. They were just very, 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 very young people who aimed high, recently started a business, and were aiming to make a living out of what they were doing. But because we still are the bad people, we fall under, that statistic of the rogue generation, the careless, the evil generation. Now we are judged, which is not right. But I refuse to be a statistic and embrace that I am an individual. Thank you.
A young boy has a dance competition the following day. But today evening, as he was playing, he hurt his knee. So the time for the competition comes, and his team is on stage. They bust moves. But at the end of the routine, he's supposed to do a backflip for the climax of their routine. But let us remember the boy had bust his knee playing football the previous day. So the spotlight shining on him, goes to do the backflip, misses, lands on his back. So what is the boy to do? Tries to save the routine. He does the snow eagle. Except it's on concrete. So the boy, on top of the busted knee, goes home with a grass band on both of his arms because of trying to save the routine. And when he was leaving the stage, the teammates tell him, if we lose this young man, it's because of you. And surely enough, they did lose. So as the boy was going home, the only words he could hear were loser, meaningless, worthless. His coach joining in the rhyme, you're worthless, you're meaningless, you made us lose. Boy goes home, turns to the only remedy that he knows, FIFA. Goes home, turns on the console, plays a bit of FIFA. Jawan, it's time for supper. Mother calls. So he doesn't really feel like taking supper, so he decides he's not going to go. The mother comes up, bangs on the door. Get up, boy, it's time for supper. The boy still does not want to come out. The boy is mad. The boy is angry. He is sad. He has been hurt, but nobody wants to listen. He tries to explain, something happened at school, Mom. I don't really feel like taking supper, but the mother doesn't want to listen. He wants the boy to come down and take supper because that is what family does. So the boy is broken, hurt, both emotionally, mentally, and physically, but nobody wants to listen. I feel like the secret to society will be, if people actually listened more, we wouldn't have a lot of deaths because of depression. I feel like the secret to life is actually listening to your friend, to your partner, to your neighbor, to someone who has a problem, even the person seated next to you. You don't even know him, but if he tries to speak to you, listen. Maybe if we actually listened more, we wouldn't have a lot of friends dying. Maybe if we actually put down the ego and listen to the people close to us, trying to understand what's happening, for the parents trying to understand their children, friends trying to understand friend, maybe we'll still be alive, not only on the outside, but on the inside too.
We are living in a time where people don't understand each other. We're living in a time where people currently, and the current generation, they're looking for the truth. They're looking for people who understand them. The people of today, the youth of today, they recognize or they relate with vulnerability among people. And the sad thing is that the generation before, that is our parents, they lived at a time where it was good for them to fake things. they did not call out those things that they thought were not right. All they did was they just followed the status quo. What we are doing this generation of ours is we're challenging the status quo. What we are doing is we are calling out all those things that we think our parents did not do right. All those things that we think they affect how we as a people develop. And the thing is, we want to raise our generation based on our own image, not the image of our parents. Nobody wants to live a mediocre life. Nobody wants to live a life that was defined for them by the person that came before them. So what are we doing here? Our parents are not understanding us just for the simple fact that what we are doing is challenging them, and they see that they look at us as if we are rebellious to what they are doing. And we want people to understand us. All we want is that human connection with our parents, the human connection with those people who came before us, those people we're supposed to look up to. But the thing is, they are lying to us at some point. We understand they are all humans, and all they are trying to do is their best as parents, and according to what was defined to them by the people who came before them. And as a generation, I believe that it is our mandate for us to follow what we want. We are the generation that breaks things. We are the generation that challenges what we think is not right according to the current times that we are living in. And I would like to say this quote by Arthur C. Clarke says that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. The technology that we're using currently and the way it has evolved, it has shaped our lives in a different way compared to the generation that existed at the time that our parents were born, or the time that they were being raised. And the fact that the technology is different from this that we're using, it is kind of magic. And that's all I have.
What if the world belonged to you? You. What if you had all what it takes to be the real you, to be the person who you ever chose to be? What if everything you had is just by your hand? Whatever you do, it's all up to you. In my closet, I have all new clothes. In my closet, all my ragged clothes are thrown away. In my closet, I have nothing but anew. Because I believe in the foundation of change. Someday, I met someone. You look into their eyes and just thank God for who you are. Because at some point you feel like you have no obligation to feel like there's nothing that could separate you from that other person. But the question is, my dear audience, is that true? You are your foundation. Look at ourselves. People here are complaining of Generation Z. Generation Z is full of mistakes. No, that's not true. When God breathed unto you, He created your own closet. Your own closet, it was that made you who you are today. Each and every single day you have a new closet. You have an empty closet. You can be. Look at our next generation, the Alpha. Many of you will born some new Alphas. What will they be? Generation Z, drunkards. I can't even name it all in this very profound event. You can change. We can be a new closet. You can build your own a new closet. I believe so. And I believe that in each one of us lies a new closet. Take note of that. Believe in yourself. Change your character. Someone talked of character development. I asked my friend, what is character development? Character development is your new closet. What you write in there, it's what your new closet will retain to be. In my closet, there lies a change. In my closet, there lies a profound belief in sustainability. The question is, my dear audience, what is in your closet? Thank you.
My Jabber, una meta meta, utakulani. Hello. Hey, Ati honey, you're not talking to the honey, you're talking to the bee. The honey is asleep. Mom. Mom, you've now started answering my calls. Mom, since when? You were just sleeping. No, I was not sleeping. What you ever think is just us sleeping. It's not all about sleeping. I was reading. So you want me to prove it? Welcome to my bedroom. See, in my closet I have a book. It's all about communication. When will you ever understand us? I was just reading, and you think that I'm asleep. Now you've picked my call. Okay, anywho, I'll just tell you what I've been learning. It's about the 4 types of communication: verbal, non-verbal, interpersonal, and intrapersonal. You need to know that before you pick my calls. It's not a matter of generational gaps. We need to communicate. You taught me that no one should pick calls if you've not been given permission. So how, since when did you start picking my calls? You see, it's good for us to be communicating these things, because that way we will live in a better place. If communication could be of essence, we wouldn't force you people to go and take vaccines during the COVID-19 period, because in communicating you could know that it's, first of all, it's my obligation. If not that, you can be coerced through observing, even viewing some status, or watch the TikTok videos. If not so, you can go to the Instagram page and see the importance of vaccines. But since there's no communication, here we are fighting all about what should you do, what should I not do, when should it be end. And I'm just tired about all these things. So one, I'll just leave you with this. Before you go to the non-verbal communication, verbal communication, or the interpersonal communication, work on the intrapersonal communication, whereby you have conversations with yourself, you know what you want, you know what you need, you know what you do not want, you know where to be at the right time, you know what you need in the right place, you know what you have to do. So in my closet, I've got so many books. And if you feel that I've been just sleeping and you think that it's about the Generation Z, it's just not knowing what they want, it's just about lazing around, next time, view my closet and I'll give you more books to read. Perhaps Warren Buffett needs to communicate more to you. Thank you.
My topic is just still the same. I've just been thinking through this as I was sitting there. But I just want to try, because I've been trying public speaking for the last 3 weeks, which I happened to push through. But nonetheless, here we are, giving our first a second try. We are not the best yet, but still trying to refine our talents and build ourselves through the platform that Candice is giving us, which I'm very thankful to everyone. But nonetheless, let's begin. So in my closet I have notes of hope, notes that I want you to share with, notes that I want to share with you today, and notes that I hope you're going to take back to your own closets. This is one of the notes that I want to read to you today. Perhaps if we look at it differently, we will be able to touch the future and save it. If there's anything that the recent tragedies have taught us in this side of Africa, and Kenya to be precise, is that there's a need for crisis management. Yes, there's a need for crisis management. What have we seen in the wake of the latest tragedies? Coercive talks, business as usual, chemical, mechanical, autopilot. We might be tired, yes, but the virus isn't. So we must mask up. If you don't mask up, you will die. It's a matter of life and death here. And with more salons and beauty points closed, things are getting uglier. And I must admit that living in this pandemic feels like a horror movie that is on repeat. But what do we do now? I think I have a solution. A solution that is going to restore humanity and reduce the number of eulogies in the burials. Take this example. Let's use what we have to get what we don't have. We have phones. We have technology. We have each and everything to communicate. We have almost everything. I can see laptops. Everybody has a phone. We have notebooks. Communication channels are so many. But we are living in a world whereby generations, we are living in a world whereby we have people who are 60, we have people who are 70, we have people who are 80. But how do you communicate with everybody? I believe it's a high time that we take to our grandpas back to TikTok. I believe it's a high time that we take our grandmas to Snapchats, because even when you go back to the rural areas, you'll find that there are no butterflies anymore. Where are the butterflies? They're in Snapchat. So that is it. And I have a very good story that I have shared with my grandmother. She was celebrating her 70th birthday just the other day, and we happened to buy her a phone for the first time. So she texted me that later that night, and she was like, "Hey, Brian, I'm just trying out texting. Love, Grandma." That text was so adorable. Perhaps he thought it's a letter, but yes. So a few months again, today, I was there texting her. I'm in KNDC. "Hey, Grandma, I'm in KNDC. And we're having a public speaking." She was there again. "Hi, Brian, KNDC, question mark, WTF." I was like, I had to call her, and I was like, "Grandma, what do you mean WTF?" And she was like, "No, I meant, wow, that's fun." I was like, oh, I cannot explain that to my mother anymore. But nonetheless, what I mean is that communication process is very important. Now you see that now she has a phone, she can figure out 1, 2, 3 things. Even she can learn about WTF. Wow, that's fun. I believe the world will be more happier when you have communication channels. Because I believe in this world of a pandemic that you are living in right now, communication is the only vaccine that can quarantine generational gaps while providing a sanitizer to solve our unschooled cultural manners. Because for them, those people who live in those ages, they believe that praying, going to church, and having medicines that is from the forest, the only way to cure COVID-19. But no, communication is the only way that can provide a sanitizer for such unschooled cultural manners. And it also helps social distance some social conflicts that have been brought about by these trigenerational gaps. So yes, as I leave you today, turn to your neighbor, ask your Jaber, what will she drink? And don't forget to take her number for communication purposes. I love you too. Thank you.